Today we have Walt Linnaeus, and he's going to introduce us to his 1950 Studebaker Champion Starlite Coupe.
Yep.
And this is an unusual car. Just the Starlite Coupe makes it very unusual, doesn't it?
Yes, there's not too many around. You notice it has the curved window all the way around the back. That's how it got the name Starlite Coupe. And it was spelled L-I-T-E, not L-I-G-H-T. That was the way it was spelled in all their ads.
Okay. And this is a bullet nose.
Yes.
They called it a bullet nose, and that was introduced in 1950, was it?
Yes, in 1950 and 1951 was the last year. They made
This
them
had 2 years with that bullet nose.
2 years with the bullet nose, yes.
Well, that makes it an unusual car.
Yes.
And this one, how did you acquire this one?
I went up, there was a place, a collector up north of Crookston, a little town just north of Crookston, and he had something like 900 vehicles, 55 Studebakers.
Wow.
He'd collected all his life, and he died, and then his sons decided to sell them off. And I went up there and I saw this one, and it had been sitting in the brush for 30 years, completely rusted. I'll have a picture of it. And I had to pay $1,000 for it, which looked like a lot for the junk pile it looked like, but I was determined to have a Starlite because I had bought one new in Detroit Lakes in February of 1950, one just like this.
Okay, and you bought it from a dealer on the north side of town, was it, in Detroit Lakes?
Yes, the Wick brothers had Lakes Studebaker, Lakes Garage Studebaker. That was where the newspaper building is now. That was Lakes Garage Studebaker at that time.
In those days, did you order out a Studebaker, or did they have one on hand?
They had one on hand. This was a little later. In 1949, there was still the post-war shortage, but by 1950, then they was catching up to pretty much had whatever you wanted on hand.
And Studebaker was kind of original after World War II, that they came out with their new body style, didn't they? A new body style for...
Yes, they called it, their 1947 model was the one that they made so many jokes about. You couldn't tell if it was coming or going because it had a hood, the body, and then the trunk. So all comedians were making jokes about couldn't tell which end was forward on that Studebaker.
Well, you should have one of those, shouldn't you?
I would really like to have one pre-bullet nose Studebaker car, but that's one thing I haven't acquired yet.
Okay. Well, this is a very unusual car. And the color on this is what?
Oh, Comanche red.
Comanche red.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
that's the original color.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they all came with 6-cylinder engines?
Yes. The Commander had a 6-cylinder straight engine also, but it was a little bigger engine. But it still was a 6-cylinder, would look just like these, only it was a little bit bigger.
Do you know what the window sticker price would have been on this one new?
I think it was around $1,900.
Okay, and that's what you bought new?
Yep. I traded in my '49 pickup on the car.
Okay, well, we want to thank you, Walt, for introducing us to this nice, pristine vehicle.
Well, thank you guys.